Our subject today in the big subject will be the counter forces, Lucifer and Ahriman, the conflict between these two counter forces inside us. Our mission as human beings is to be able to integrate inside us the two opposing forces. And then we can get into some middle, yes, to some middle line, to a center. But this center doesn't mean only putting half of this and half of this. We have to experience both of the opposing forces and find a special way that it is supposed to be integrated in us. Yeah. It's not just like mixing now two colors and creating a third. It is, but it has to be in the right amount and in the right way for us, for our individual path. Mind that when we are talking about the conflict, we are talking all the time of the conflict that is living in the field of the human being's soul and the mission of the human being. We aren't talking about something outside, but of course it expresses itself outside of us. But we are talking all the time of the human being and the inner work that we are asked to do. So we can say that in us are these two opposing forces. The one we could name as only matter, and the other we could name as only spirit. Each of them wants to grab us, to take us into one side, into one-sideness. And one of the subjects that we can look and try to know the difference and the tendency of Lucifer and Ahriman is by the dimension of time. Yes? And we can say that the human being is torn between these two forces. And each of them would like to prevent us from being able to use the gift of time in the right way. Time is a gift that was given to the human beings by the Godhood. In the spiritual world, there is no time. But human beings develop in time. When the endless creator created Earth and created the human being and the whole evolution that brought us to the place of the birth of the human being, there was no time. The whole plan, we can say metaphorically, was already in his head the moment that he said to himself, I want to create a human being. Yes, please don't take it in a, as it is, but as a metaphor, because we can't say really anything about the Godhood and the endless creator, but we can say that the moment we know that the Godhood, when one of the hierarchies wants something, it's already created the moment they just think about it. Steiner describes this about the archive. The archive had this ability and have this ability when they just thought about something, it is already becoming a will. It's already becoming something in the world. So the spiritual hierarchies don't need time, but the human being needs time. The human being develops in time. And we know that we will study more about it in the next module, but when was time first created? All Saturn. It became out of the sacrifice of the spirits of will. They sacrificed their essence to the spirits of harmony. And when they did this, out of this was created warmth and was created time. Time is not something abstract in the spiritual evolution. There are spirits of time. And when we say that time was created, it's the time that they received their eye. The spirits of time, the archai actually, it is the archai, received their eye in all Saturn. And this is when time began. But we will talk much more about this in the next module. But what is important to see is that it happened in the same time that the germ of the physical body of the human being was created. So we see that in order to create a human being, we also need time. And why is that? Why do human beings need time? What does time give us? What possibilities does time give us? Just imagine that the moment I would do something, or I would even think something, the result would come in the same moment. We have this in the physical realm. In the physical realm, if I, for instance, I have here a glass of tea, what will happen if I will drop it on the floor? And it will break, right? So in the physical realm, we get the results of what we do in the same moment, or very close to the moment that it happens. But just imagine that every time someone is angry at someone else, he would say, oh, I could kill him. Yeah, he would say this expression, I could kill him, and this person would die at the same moment. Every time I would do something bad, I would hurt someone else, or I would think something bad, at the same moment I would get a result, even as a little child. Yeah, just imagine that little children would get the results of every evil thing that they do, even unconsciously, most of it unconsciously, they would see its result at the same moment. We would die very young. Yeah, we would die almost the moment we would be born. Right? So the Godhood gave us time in order that, like Yvette said, in order that we can experiment, we could make mistakes, and then see the results. And then we can try to correct them after we did them 1,000 times. Yeah, usually we don't study so quickly, but after we do a mistake 1,000 times, hopefully we begin to correct. right? Okay, so time is a gift. But Lucifer and Ahriman want to take it away. And we will see how they do it in opposite ways. Yes.